So what is it like to be able to ask God anything? First, let me just say, I know how fucking ridiculous that sounds. Look at me. Who am I? Why do I have this relationship? I ask myself the same questions all the time. I wish I had an answer. I don't know. I'm not special. I know that much. I know that I didn't have a religious upbringing. I know that I've suffered and struggled my entire life and certainly not felt chosen, and still, for whatever reason, I have a direct relationship with God. Now, it's not like I get crystal clear answers all the time and I know exactly what to do. I'm human, I'm fallible, I misinterpret things, I mishear things, I take wrong actions even when I hear the right thing because I don't have the courage, I'm not brave enough, I talk myself out of it in my logical mind, and yet I've got access to something that is incredibly special and something that I know that you can have access to. And the reason that I am making this video right now is because God asked me to. God, I swear I am not insane. I promise you. But we are at a time right now in the world where we get to choose what happens next. And we can either double down on what we've been up to and thinking that all we can see is all there is, or we can start to take things in a different direction, which actually is a return back to the thinking pre-enlightenment where we put God out there, where to be religious was to have some sort of moral values. God became about belief, about checking these boxes. If you do these things, then you are a follower of God, especially in Christianity. And that is not my experience of God. I still cuss, I still drink, I still eat red meat, I do all sorts of stuff that people would probably judge me for and say are not moral, but the universe is not moral. God is not moral. God knows only love and only cares that you treat your neighbor as yourself and only cares that you give yourself to something bigger, that you see and trust and know that you have a purpose here and that you don't have to push or fight or scramble, and you've got lots of options on the things that you can do out in the world. So to have a personal relationship with God is quite different from being religious, obviously. The way that I mainly communicate with God is, yes, I pray and I sometimes have a conversation in my thoughts, I guess you could say. Things just kind of pop in that I understand it's a piece of information that is necessary for the next steps or phases in my life. And if I'm not sure, I ask God. And the way that I do that usually is in my journal. And sometimes I journal even without a knowing popping in and then needing to ask a question. Sometimes I just journal to have a conversation. It's a little bit easier than it staying up in my mind. I think a lot of people think that they're gonna bother God by talking about mundane things of your life, what to eat for breakfast, where to go on a trip. What I have found, though, is that more than anything, God wants a relationship with you. God wants to learn and grow and develop through you and with you. And so anything that brings you closer, anything that allows you to spend more time and develop a relationship is something that God encourages you or wants you to do. Now, I find after this 5-minute ridiculousness, I should probably say, I swear to you, I am not a very woo-woo person. A lot of the people that are probably watching this video know me from when I used to talk about and teach the gene keys. And that, if you're not familiar, that's basically a system. If you're familiar with human design, it's a spin-off of that system. There's spirituality, astrology, East meets West, a whole bunch of stuff in it. I had a really hard time adopting that system because it has astrology in it. I am not a woo-woo person. However, I had an experience about 10 years ago in meditation and I was meditating simply because I was trying to get more done. I was trying to be more efficient. I was using it to calm my monkey mind and ease my anxiety and be more effective, essentially. There's nothing religious or spiritual about it. And to my great surprise, I had this moment where something that I could not explain, something that I had never felt before, something that I did not believe in. I was not agnostic, okay? I was atheist. I didn't have the door open at all. I thought that anyone who believed in God was a fool. And yet, this presence came around me, and all I could feel was this immense peace and ease and love. And it was for the first time in my life, because I grew up in an addict household. I became a heroin addict myself. I was in the Marine Corps and all the things that are associated with that realm and that life. And I just did not believe there was a God with everything that had happened to me and everything that I had seen. And so this moment made no sense to me, and it started an obsession, essentially. I needed to feel it more, I needed to see more, I needed to find more, and it was the beginning of some really intense seeking that brought me to lots of different places, inner places and outer places. And one of those places that it brought me eventually, this is now 4 years after that experience, and I had done a ton of exploration, but it brought me to a plant medicine space. My life was getting worse and worse and worse even after having met God. And I know now that it was because I wasn't listening, I wasn't shifting things, I wasn't changing. And so suffering is how we'll change. So at the plant medicine experience, somebody brought in the Gene Keys book to use it as an intention. And in that same ceremony, I saw something with my own eyes that was completely counter to everything that I believed. It did not make any logical sense, and it proved to me in that moment that there are things that we can see beyond our five senses. And I'll save that story for another time, but it was just so clear to me. Anyway, the point of this video is to tell you that you can do this too, and that all that is required is an intention and stillness. So if you have a desire for this to happen to you, and you can manage to create space in your life so that you're not constantly running around. And the easiest way that I know how to do that is to meditate. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, God's voice whispers, and the energies that come through with God can't break through when we are tense and tight and constantly moving around. I take it back, they can. I think this has something to do with free will and our necessity to give ourselves over, or to ask for this to happen. And the times where we don't ask, in moments of immense danger, I think that this energy can Kool-Aid man through the wall and come in and be there for you. But other than that, this is something that you need to do first on your end. I want to make sure that you know that there's no boxes that you need to check. There's nothing that you need to do. Your past does not matter. It is all about what you want moving forward. And if you want a relationship with God, which is so crazy to hear these words coming out of my mouth, he, she, it will be there for you, and your life will completely change. Now, you need to be ready for this, because God will ask you to do things, just like he asked me to do things. And when you don't do them, or if you don't do them, things will get worse before they get better. You will also become a lot more sensitive to the world that is happening around you. I think because we get so sensitive to these subtle energies and currents, the stuff that's happening in the world can be really overwhelming. Walking into a Walmart and having those lights and the sound and the people and all of it is pretty intense for me these days. It's not I can't do it, right? I think that is oversensitivity. We need to be able to function in the world. God doesn't want to pull us up and out. We are human. We have flesh. Everything of this world, this drum, this tea, it's all reflection of God. It's all made of spiritual material. So we don't meet God to get out of this. We use that relationship to be able to anchor ourselves in, and to know that we're going to be safe, and to know that we can help other people around us, and that we don't need to panic or scramble or fight or worry. All right, it's late, and I have no idea if I'm going to actually post this or not.